So without wasting any more time, I just want to kick things off straight away. Let's just get the ball rolling, all right? So first question goes out to Moses. You are based not in Kuching, KL, but you travel quite a lot in different places, right? So you've got the opportunity to set up businesses all around the world, not only in Sarawak. But still you chose Sarawak. But why Sarawak? Are there anything unique about Sarawak that made you choose this? Was it the food? Was it the weather?
All right. Thank you, Jacob. Also, thank you. Nice meeting everyone here today. I think before that, I would like to first thank you to Cradle and also Mosti for this opportunity. Also, thank you to Aztec for also, bringing this opportunity to Libitech, and also to TEGAS for giving this honor to Libitech to be on this stage today. All right. So there are, in terms of why we choose Sarawak, the first main reason why we Libitech started the company in Sarawak is because first, because we are Sarawakian, and Sarawak is very close to our heart. So that's the reason why we started the Eastern Sarawak. And the second part is because of the opportunity and the market size in Sarawak is really huge, especially for Sarawak entrepreneurs. And a lot of Sarawakian, they don't really realize that for other people outside of Sarawak, to start a business here in Sarawak is not easy. So we as Sarawakians should take this opportunity to build our businesses and grab the opportunity here in Sarawak. And that's the main reason why we started the business here in Sarawak. And I think the third part is because we see that there's an opportunity when it comes to technology in Sarawak. Because in Sarawak, we realized that because I was working in KL for almost a decade, for 10 years. And the thing that I realized is that the startup ecosystem or the tech ecosystem in KL is very competitive. And when I first came to Sarawak, we started the company last year in Sarawak, we realized that in terms of there's a huge opportunity, and also there's a huge gap that we can actually bring into Sarawak. And that's the reason why we, started the business here.
All right. Yeah. I think there's huge potential in Sarawak, so fully agree with that. So up next, how about you, Aaron? You have participated in the Digital Village Examination last year. And also you have experiences working in Germany and Australia. So question for you would be, how is the startup ecosystem in Sarawak different from all these other countries? Are we even ready to grow the next unicorn?
We are in the initial stages, I would say. And again, just as full discretion, I was not involved in any startups in both countries, but you can kind of see it from a sort of third-person point of view. Yeah, I think we're at the initial stages, but I think of all people to able to explain our sort of ecosystem right here, I think you is the best person to actually talk about the available fundings, the available available organizations that are in Sarawak that supports our startup ecosystem. And just to plug it, this TEGAS ever since we've been involved in the ecosystem in Sarawak has been a really, really well run, really supportive organization, as well as Aztec if you were in the accelerator last year. So yeah, we're in the early stages. I think we are making the right moves. And one of the key things in Sarawak for me is that we have a very strong narrative. Put it simply, I don't know if I get any flack for saying this, our political situation is quite stable here. So, and as you know, to grow a economy, especially the digital renewable energy sector, having that strong narrative requires this long, stable situation. I think that's something that really attracted us.
Definitely, I totally agree with you. So, how about you, Melvin? You invest a bit in startups, and you've been around for quite a while. So, what is your opinion on the startup ecosystem in Sarawak? It's something very supportive. Who's you?
I think the startup ecosystem has changed a lot. When I came back almost 8 years ago, so I've had Karuna for more than 10 years, and I was operating remotely from the US as a part-time business. So one of the reasons I came back was actually because of family. My dad had a heart attack, so I needed to take care of the family. So when I was here, I saw that the tech scene is still at its infancy. So I thought that it was a good opportunity for us, and we were right. So we stepped on with the development of website and digital marketing, and from there, we kind of grew into smart city solutions as well as other ERP solutions for the state. And right now we are looking at startups because the state is very, they're very encouraging to these startups, and they provide pretty good incentives as well compared to the other states in Malaysia. I think our culture here is more close-knit, and it's easier to get the word out to the rest of the population of Sarawak compared to other parts of Malaysia. But I think one of the challenges here is also in obtaining the local workforce, so upskilling them. So that's possibly one of the contributions that the startups will need to do to grow this local tech workforce. Yeah.
You touched on a bit of workforce and manpower. We'll return to that in a moment. You mentioned a bit about our culture here. We're very close-knit. So do you think that, besides that culture of being close-knit, our cultural heritage, like our arts, dances and all that, do you think that helps in attracting entrepreneurs and investors to Sarawak? Is it really only about profitability?
For me as an investor, it's all about sustainability, right? So profit is secondary. I mean, if it's sustainable and it can generate small amounts of profit along the way, I think it is good enough. I mean, there are startups in KL who grew from zero to something in a year, and then 2 years later they just crashed and burned. So we don't want that. And I think that the cultural diversity here is good because it keeps, for me personally, it keeps me grounded, right? So I can have a very hectic schedule at work, and then when I go out, it's always like kolomi, laksa, kopi, So you have that work-life balance in Sarawak that you can't get anywhere else in other states. In KL, you'll be stuck at traffic jams 4 to 5 hours, in a day. But in Kuching, you can get anywhere within 5 to 10 minutes. So I think that, it has the potential to become a Silicon Valley of Malaysia.
Awesome. Yeah. Regarding the traffic jams, I think we're approaching KL levels slowly. But still, yes, you're not stuck in a traffic jam for many hours until it. Okay, so this goes out to maybe Aaron, because all of you are in tech, some way or another. So regarding a business, the cost of running a business is quite important, right? So do you think the cost of doing business in Sarawak how does it compare to other regions in Southeast Asia?
Again, and speak from personal basis because I haven't set up it in places other than in Sarawak and little scale to some extent. And if we just compare that from the point of view of Kuala Lumpur and Kuching in Sarawak in general, obviously the cost of doing business here is it's low around. So it is going up. It is getting more and more expensive to run a business. But at this point of time, I think there is a great value proposition in running business in Sarawak. Mainly because you can put money there and stop and be eaten up by your own pets. It will, in a way, with more of profitability, it will yield you much quicker than going into different sectors, places on. It's about done.
So you've not actually expanded outside of Malaysia to maybe Indonesia or the Philippines?
To KL, yes. And we have done operations across. So just to explain, US Mapping is a geospatial consultant. So we do mapping operations. We are based in Sarawak. We have run operations across the whole Malaysia, as well as in Singapore. And from these kind of exercises, you can tell Singapore is just off the charts. And being that we are, running in the Malaysian ringgit mostly. But it is, and that way, I think that's a unique opportunity also in Sarawak because cost is low here. We are able to tap into all our resources over here while hopefully be able to tap into overseas customers.
So you're currently running it from Sarawak, but the market is accessible from here. All right. So maybe for Moses, if you had a choice, right, what would be your first choice country to expand in?
The first choice of country. All right, because at the moment we are an enterprise SaaS company where we focus on vision AI solutions in 3 business sectors. One is in the infrastructure sector, the agriculture sector, and also in the ESG couple credits. Those are some of the recent ventures that we are currently doing. So if you were to ask me which market I would enter first is definitely Malaysia. The reason why I would say Malaysia is because I understand the market much more better as compared to other markets. But I think the second market that I would really look into, especially us being Sarawak, is Indonesia. I've been speaking with a lot of Indonesia partners regarding expanding our AI company into Indonesia. The opportunity there is huge, especially Kalimantan being the new capital of Indonesia. So we as Sarawak, we should be looking into those opportunities there in Indonesia. And also the second market I think that's really interesting at the moment is in Thailand. Because Thailand especially is because in Sarawak, like now the state government is really pushing into like the ESG agenda and also the net zero agenda. And one of the countries that's really pushing this hard is Thailand and Singapore. So those are some of the markets that maybe we as Sarawak can really look into. But whatever it is, I still think that Sarawak is still a quite competitive market, and also especially in Sarawak, there's so much opportunity here. And if our tech entrepreneurs are able to see the opportunity and grab the opportunity, I think the amount of growth they can have in Sarawak is tremendous, especially with the support from the state government, like STAS. Definitely they can grow way faster.
Awesome. I never thought of Thailand, but you raised a very valid point. In fact, they have the same love for four-wheel drives as us here in Sarawak. So, cultural similarities. But jokes aside, we mentioned a lot about untapped opportunities, things that we could probably explore also here in Sarawak. Maybe for Melvin, what are some untapped opportunities that you could see, maybe potential ventures for startups out there they could try to go into?
For Sarawak, I see a huge potential in agri-tech, maybe even building tech, because it's a developing state. Food security is very important to most developed countries, China, US included. And I think that we have such vast and ample amounts of land that we can make use of. And so that would also drive the creation of skilled workforce to actually build this agriculture scene in Sarawak. So I think that is definitely something to look into. In terms of deep tech, I think Sarawak still lacks in terms of infrastructure. A lot of labs needs to be developed, a lot of knowledge transfers. I know that we are coming up with our own IC fabrication, our own chip design, but I think there's still a lot of work to be done. I think these are areas that we can potentially explore as well. But there needs to be quite a lot of knowledge transfer and a lot more talent to be imported before we can get down.
Fully agree with you. During the pandemic also, I kind of realized like how important it is for us to produce our own food locally, because then during that time also I realized that a lot of it was imported. Even our chicken, beef, vegetables were all imported. We have a lot of land, however most of it is I would say still abandoned, not utilized yet. Hopefully one of us out there can make use of that or create a solution to use that better. So this one is for Aaron. Back to Aaron. So you grew UAS mapping to what it is, right? So what type of strategies did you implement in that company to grow yourself to this level? Well, what kept you growing very consistently?
I think one of the key things that we did, and I think we did it right, is to put ourselves in sort of make ourselves very available, put us in the right situations. Even this situation where we are talking, I'm here talking, goes to showcase that we put ourselves in a situation where we tell people that this is what we do. We're available to do this, and that has helped us grow quite tremendously. So in this, putting it into a better word, I think it's a word of mouth helps a lot. And Melvin mentioned about Sarawak being a really close in society community. That is one of the key advantages of being right over here in Sarawak. It helps us get work without really pushing too hard at marketing. But at the same time, one of the key strategies that we've also done is, and this goes with a lot of new businesses that's coming up here, we heavily digitalized. So, and very, very simple ideas of having websites. I think that's something that a lot of businesses here solely don't focus on at all, which is kind of, not say strange, but it is a byproduct of it being such a great close-knit society, community. And, you know, the other thing that we did was, of course, I guess, in this case, it ties into the first one. I think we did a lot of networking in this case. And that again, ties into that closely knitted community where we are able to have the opportunity quite easily versus, you know, doing operations, say, in all.
Yeah. As the saying goes, also in Kuching, you know, Kuching is very small. We will know everyone here. Everyone's a cousin of someone, an uncle of someone. But I think it's also beneficial in the sense that the flow information and sharing of knowledge is also very open here in Sarawak. I also feel that it's also important for startups, you know, to vocally share, to openly also accept mentorship and to be coachable, right? But moving on, I mean, going back to the topic of talent and manpower, maybe get some thoughts from Moses. So it's not a secret. It's quite complex and a bit lengthy to get a working permit for, especially talent imports, right? Have you personally faced any challenges in that area? Any personal stories in the future?
Yes, to be honest, I think we are facing that a lot this year. Because at the moment, we are currently expanding the company and we are starting to hire more people into the company. So I think one of the reasons why, because for the first year of operations, we started our company, Kuching. So we had an office, a small office in Batakawa in MDC. Then after that, after 1 year, we decided to move all our workforce in KL to that. So one of the main reasons why we moved in KL was because we were in the AI, a bit more on vision AI. So it was very difficult for us to find software engineers, but the good thing about Fuji, right? If you were to hire engineers, you can still hire it at a very affordable pricing if you were to hire engineers here in Sarawak. But to find the really, the really specialists on the field that you want, is all in Kuala Lumpur. So I think those are some of the difficulties that we face here when we businesses in Sarawak. And also, for example, right now we were also involved in a telco project. So we were to do survey of telco project, telco towers under Huawei and ENI. So we were also finding it difficult to find really capable people, experienced people in Sarawak. Whereas if you were to do in KL, there's tons of people like them. But that aside, the state government, I see they are really pushing, into making sure that we have a lot more skilled workers here in Sarawak, and also finding ways on how to bring back all the skilled workers from Kuala Lumpur overseas back in Sarawak. I think those are the things that the Sarawak people are really, the state government is really finding ways of how to do it at the moment. Yeah,
I think it's also good that we realize that they have the ability, have the qualifications. However, maybe what they're lacking is experiences like that.
But just also to add, right? I'm not saying that there's no talented or capable engineers in Sarawak. There are lots of talented. I think Sarawakians are one of the most talented talented engineers I've met so far. We have a lot of skilled engineers, regardless of race and religion in Sarawak. A lot of talented. But most of them, because of the opportunity, or maybe because of the tech market in Sarawak is not that big, so they decided to work either in Singapore or in KL. So I think those are some of the things that is facing Sarawak at the moment.
Wow. So it could be that even though you get the engineer from KL, that person is probably a Sarawakian also. Yeah, that. So what about you, Melton? What do you think that government agencies should take or improve on? Grow the local talent a bit better, especially in tech sector?
Personally, Karina faced a lot of this issue. That's why we have a branch in KL as well. So we do house most of our skilled IT engineers in KL. But at the same time, we also encourage them to come to Kuching after they have worked a next number of years in KL. One of the issues that I had was actually getting the visas for them. So today, Karina has 3 international international IT graduates or engineers, and we had to go through, a lot of trouble going to the state secretary, getting support letters, going to ministries to get support letters before we are able to appeal to immigration department. And usually it takes more than one appeal to do so. So if the government is open to actually allocate a quota for each tech company, which we can use, perhaps, based on your size, then we will be able to fast track the application. So hopefully, TEGAS, Aztec, SMA could facilitate on this.
I think that's true. That's a very good suggestion. I would say that we should import more of all these talented individuals. When they come in here, there's an influx of all these talents coming in, and that will also affect the local community.
Actually, in terms of the training and the upskilling costs, right, to upskill the local startups is almost as much as hiring a skilled worker from KL. It's actually cheaper to hire a skilled worker than to upskill. Sarawak actually has the largest IT graduates in the whole of Malaysia. Unimas produces the most IT graduates in Malaysia itself. So, and a lot of them come from all around Malaysia. So, so even if after their internship with us, we are not able to hire them because the requirement in the immigration department states that they will need to have at least 3 years of working experience before they have to be of a certain age. I think it's 24 or 25, no, above 27 years old for us to be able to hire them in our company. And so there are certain policies that needs to be looked at to make this possible for us to hire. Yeah.
Hopefully we can relax those policies, make it a bit easier for us to maybe hire more tech talents. All right, so we did touch a bit about Indonesia's new capital, right? Nusantara, if I'm not mistaken, just a couple of hours away from us. So them setting it up very near to Sarawak. Do any of you have an idea of what opportunities may arise out of it? Maybe you can start with Aaron first.
I think that just put it simply, it's like a real blue ocean over there.
Okay.
Yeah, so put it simply, anything that we can think of here to translate over there is a big business opportunity. For me, personally, what we've been seeing is that we're getting a lot of inquiries from Indonesia. So, but at the same time, seeing this as a blessing for Sarawak in general, for all our industries, I think, it's also a big challenge that to actually, for me, but personally, what I think that we need to be doing is to be able to work with the government over there to actually allow easier way for operations for Sarawak companies to be able to translate their skills and talents and businesses over in Nusantara. Because as of now, I can say this personally because we've been looking to set up it. And there's a lot of requirements. And so
it's not only a challenge for them to come here, but it's also for us to expand that. There's a sort of uphill battle a bit.
What I can see is that there's more need for us to go there now than there is on the other side. Yeah, because there's so many projects running and there's things that are happening there. Setting up a new capital is not easy. Yeah, and it requires a lot of expertise.
I heard from a small bird southwest some rumors that it will be a VCT also, smart city type of thing. So of course it would not be an easy feat. But I trust our brothers over in Indonesia. I think they can pull it off. So how about you, Moses? Do you think maybe you can touch a bit about Nusantara? How about you? What types of opportunities do you see by that setting up quite near to us?
Yeah, I think in terms of opportunities for Sarawak at least, and also for Sarawak entrepreneurs and businesses, there are tons of opportunities in Indonesia, especially when it comes to agriculture. Because Kalimantan is one of the largest palm oil plantations in the world. Yeah, so they have like hundreds of thousands of hectares of palm oil plantations there. And I see that if we can enter into like the agri-tech, like what Melly said, it's actually a huge opportunity. Infrastructure is also a huge opportunity in Malaysia, right? Just like at the moment, like SCB is also working very closely with the Indonesian electrical company over there. When we provide electricity in Kalimantan, especially through all the renewable projects like from Hydro, so they're popping into Indonesia as well. So all those things are huge opportunity in Indonesia. So I had quite a few friends that actually runs businesses in Indonesia. I have one of my friend, his father is actually, he owns a coal company in Kalimantan. So they run all this, Anak is a big, coal company, in Indonesia. So one of the difficulties of building, penetrating Indonesia is actually for Sharkians or for Malaysians to actually build businesses in Indonesia. We need a strong Indonesian partner to be able to penetrate into Indonesia. And some of the policies in Indonesia it's not as simple as compared to Malaysia. So for foreigners to set up company in Indonesia is something. So most of my associates, how they usually set up a company in Indonesia, if they were to expat, is through partners. The opportunity is there, it's huge. But yeah, there are some things that we as companies need to really look into before penetrating into Indonesia. That's why it's
Very good tip. If you were to ask me how do you set up a company in Indonesia, I'd be the clueless. Ask Moses. So, all right, this one is for Melvin. Knowing that they are quite close to our borders, also, what do you feel is a suitable approach towards this? Should we go the EU route in the sense that we open it up, free flow coming in and out, or should we maybe tighten it up a bit?
I think it should be an open economy because, as we get into the digital era, everything becomes borderless. So I think that the collaboration between Indonesia and Sarawak could be tighter in a sense because Kalimantan would be the capital city of Indonesia, making access to politicians, ministers, from here a lot easier. In terms of local setup, I believe that it's pretty much the same for Sarawak as well. We also need a majority, Sarawakian stakeholdership. So it's pretty similar in Indonesia, but I think that these are some of the areas that can grow, increase economic integration, infrastructure development, supply chain opportunities, and cross-border investments. I think the investment part, it's a big spillover. When Indonesia is being invested in, I think part of that infrastructure would greatly benefit Sarawak as well. So I think that was going to be a race between, who's able to get the economy up faster.
And I think there will be a very healthy competition. Sometimes, to become better, you kind of need that competitor issue to be accelerated. So maybe this one, Aaron can take it up. You're recently a father also. Not to put you on the spot, but congratulations. Thanks. So, do you see like a future that for the next generation? What should they do to really make Sarawak this launchpad or like a center to reach out to other ASEAN countries?
I mean, again, yes, being a father, this is the bit that's quite relevant. Yeah. Yeah, I'm new father. So, from my point of view, I think one of the things that really needs to be it's still, I guess, with our current, the state's next generation, I'm still quite young, but the next generation, for us to really grow Sarawak, I think, is to sort of understand, and I would say this from a point of view of like, we are quite proud of Sarawak, but one of the things that the risk of it running is that we don't understand our opportunities here as the economy explores that. So from my point of view, one of the things that the next generation is to understand is that we as a state is simply is in a unique position to see next generation of growth. The question is kind of stuns me a little bit, put it simply, because it's a little hard for me to predict what's going to happen. And I think we're in the right position to see these kind of the growths, mainly because of what we've been discussing today. I don't know if many of you have any ideas what the next generation is focusing on. No, we already focused in fact. we are already focused on digitalization.
I think for me personally, I think it's cultural integration because, my young niece is speaking American English to me. And I was like, where the heck did she learn it from YouTube, right? So I think that the next stage where the younger generation will be complete cultural integration and also borderless transaction of knowledge. So they're able to pick up on things more quickly. Yeah.
In a way, that's what you just mentioned and kind of why they're at American.
Yeah, correct.
I wouldn't be against that. I'm also quite surprised at the things that kids pick up on from YouTube. I mean, a positive way. I think it's up to us, to also guide them a bit. Just to put them on the right path. Once you set them on the right YouTube channels, they will definitely learn the right things. So maybe this one goes out to Moses. We have talked a lot Indonesia. So what about other neighboring nations? What about Brunei, Singapore, maybe even the Philippines? Would that also be something that startups should look up to in the expanding?
Okay, so first and foremost, I'm only talking this based on my experience because my businesses are mainly in Malaysia at the moment. So if you were to ask what about Brunei, Singapore, and also Philippines, I think it all depends on what business you're in and also what are your company strategies. For example, if you were to be in, for example, like oil and gas, Brunei will go all the way. Brunei really need to do so much opportunity in infrastructure, oil and gas over there. And I believe that, and I realized a lot of the tech startups I'm not really sure why not a lot of the tech startups are into those industries, but those industries are actually huge in Sarawak. I'm not really sure why they're not existing. So I see that there's a huge opportunity out there. So if in Singapore, if you were to look into tech, were to look into AI, to fundraising for PCs, which are making Sarawak. For Philippines, that's the part. I don't really know the market, but I think for extra kids, one of the things that I realized that a lot of my fellow entrepreneurs, not you guys, I mean some of the ones that I know, is that a lot of the startup kids are a bit too comfortable in Kuching, so they will only focus with their businesses here in Kuching, which is not a bad thing, but if startup kids were to be, let's say, the next unicorn. Or to be one day try to be a big company, they must at least look into expanding their businesses beyond Sarawak, beyond Malaysia, beyond Southeast Asia, and also try to look at the bigger picture, not only in Sarawak but also to be big, throughout Southeast Asia. And I see that with events like this from MYStartup, from Cradle, and also with the support from the state government, I believe that there will one day be a Sarawak unicorn in the air. I think it's possible. Yep. Amen to that.
But of course, not everyone should aim to be a unicorn. That should not be the only goal. Although that is the kind of like something awesome to be able to achieve. Sometimes I feel that there are two trains of thoughts when talking to entrepreneurs and startups. A lot of them actually do not want to be a unicorn. They just want to do what they are passionate about, create the impact that they wanted to create, and, just earn a stable income every month, being able to send their kids to school, to be able to put food on the table. And, if they get the investments to become a unicorn, they will still accept it. They won't be against it, right? And, well, maybe this one you could help clarify on. Is it correct that the unicorn is the only thing that they should aim for?
So actually there's multiple levels of animals before you get to the unicorn. You have the horse, and then I think there's still a few more stages, the lion, and then the last one is the unicorn, right? It's the unique beast. I personally do not think that the unicorn is for everyone. Unicorns are usually for products for high market consumption. So, Carson fits the bill, Grab fits the bill. But if you are doing sort of like a craft startup, a cultural startup, I don't think going the unicorn route is the best route. So I think it depends on your startup category. But if you are in the tech startup, generative AI, or something that is near blockchain, you can potentially try to be a unicorn. So I was talking to Kylie from 500 Startups before, and he actually mentioned that you need to have a lot of usage in your app in order for you to become a unicorn. A lot of subscriptions. So it depends on how big is your market base to enable you to get the unicorn status.
That's correct. Yeah, fully agree. Sometimes also you should not be the only one. And of course, sometimes even you don't have to be a unicorn, be a horse, or even be a goat. That is something that you should even look, aim towards, right? The greatest of all time, they're good also. So, now we want to go back to support and resources that we have here in Sarawak. It's not only for the foreign companies, for the startups also. TEGAS and Cradle, we've been working quite hard, going all over the places, trying to really grow it bit by bit from the grassroots. Maybe Moses can clarify on this, also shed a bit of light on this. Like the support and resources that we have in Sarawak here, right? How can we better improve on it? We've provided quite a lot. However, what are some aspects of support that you think that we should improve on?
Okay, just to make things clear, I think for the fintech, right? Because I've been in this scene as part-time since 2017. So we've been really being like very dead serious into the business in 2021. And one thing I would say, right, without the support from the state government, the support from TEGAS, without the support from STech, right, I don't think that big tech can be where we are today, to be honest. Because when I first came into the tech scene, I was just a young engineer working in the oil and gas company. So when we first entered into the scene, we had zero experience because my family are not from a group of entrepreneurs. So all the skills and traits that I learned in entrepreneurship actually comes from events with accelerators, from the boot camps that TEGAS, that Aztec was organizing. So those are how I actually managed to learn and also grow as a company. And also all the networks that I made was through all of these events that the state government provides. So for me to be sitting here, I need huge gratitude with the state government on that. But some of the things maybe that can be improved. Yeah, I think one of the things maybe that we can also look into is trying to opening up, Sarawakians to be more open on opportunities outside of Sarawak. I think that's one thing, man. That's one. The second thing is to encourage more Sarawak startups to be involved in technology and tech, because I think those are the things that are one of the fast moving. And also if Sarawak were to really capitalize on the opportunity now, for example, like AI, so this is the right time to actually be in those sectors or in those industries. And also the third thing is maybe because Sarawakian has the tendency to be very kind-hearted, like I can say. So okay, I just do like this only lah. Yeah, maybe I think it should be because to be honest, I don't think that the state government is doing. I think the state government is doing a lot. I think the question is what can the government or what can the state or what can the federal do for Sarawak, or what can the Sarawak entrepreneurs themselves change in terms of their mindset. So I think those are the key things that Sarawak entrepreneurs must really look into. Not what can the state give, or what can we do better for us to really grow this ecosystem here as well. Because from what I see, like the state government, they're really pushing learning into the ecosystem, especially with our opinion. They've been pushing this together since 2014, more or less. Yeah. So yeah, I think it goes back to what can the entrepreneurs provide more in terms of value and so on. Yeah,
Awesome share. Yeah, I do believe so. And we have to change our own selves first before all these things can come on. All right. I have a few more questions, but I think we're really running out of time. I want to hear something from an investor's perspective. I guess this will go out to you about it. So, how can we better attract more investors, especially outside of Malaysia, to invest more in Sarawakian startups and even SMEs? What can we do to improve that?
I think we need to share the unique selling points of our startups, with these particular investors. I feel that perhaps startups here need to have more market access programs. I guess that's why Cradle, Varanti, and that could potentially come into help. And like what Moses said, yes, I do think that a lot of the startups here lack exposure they have not been to a lot of international trade fairs outside of Sarawak. So they have not seen the technology that's available outside. So I hope that there's going to be more exposure for them, and that would enable them to have that mindset, to want to be on par in terms of competition-wise with the other startups in other countries. And so I think that's quite important. And number two is to give the investors a sense of security. What sort of assurance are we to give them as a state or as a startup that we would give returns on their investments. So I think those two are the key things on creating that investor confidence. And so if they can get a project from the state government, or they can get certain market access programs to other countries, I think the investors will be more than happy to invest.
Awesome, Sharon. I think that's a very good perspective to see things. So, just to wrap things up, Aaron, what types of challenges do you see, with establishing a business in Sarawak? How can they best overcome them?
I think we've already highlighted one of the key challenges that I think all of us face here, which is manpower, which is one of the things. When you say overcome them, we as businesses, we're quite resilient, I would say. We have to make things work. So, and I think Melvin did mention, with this as being the main challenge everyone's talking about today, upskilling is one of the things that we've been investing ourselves. We've been investing a lot of time in upskilling. Melvin, I think you're the same. And so, yourself. But the thing is, one of the elements that I feel that we as startups can adopt is to actually just be really, really, and again, I bring this back to what we were speaking before, where a lot of Sarawakian startups don't have the opportunity to be out there. And to take this to expand on this a little bit more is that, we can be quite comfortable when we are doing that to our businesses here. And we run the risk, I think, of creating solutions that are very localized, doing things that are meant for here. And for me, that's probably the strategy that really needs to be adopted by us and to overcome the challenge is to look outwards and to take inspiration from it over time. Yeah.